Now let's finish up. We're on this on Parshat Vayishlach. I want to show you we're finishing up with Yaakov in this epic battle with the Malach, and because this is so there's such a couple of fundamentals here. That's why we're spending time on this. We had mentioned that on Perek Lamed Beis Pasuk Chaf Tes. Oh wow, we're way back there. Okay, well we'll finish this up today, and then tomorrow we'll go on to Vayishlach. So Yaakov is fighting with this angel, and then on top of page 176, we had said yesterday, "Vayomer shalcheni ki Allah hashachar." The angel, the ministering angel of Eisav, says to Yaakov, "Send me off, because morning has broken. Vayomer lo hashalecha hakim berechtani. I will not send you off until you bless me." Now, we had mentioned yesterday that Yaakov, the angel, is intimidated because the forces of falsehood do not want the light of truth to shine on them. The forces of falsehood do not want the light of truth to shine on them, and therefore Yaakov asks, he wants to run away. Top of page 176. Now, there is a Gemara that I've mentioned in the past. I think it's worth repeating because this is also on the same topic. It's an insight into just about every single human being. It's one of the most commonly experienced Gemaras that I think everybody goes through. You know, the Gemara says in the future, what's going to happen to the evil inclination? Did you ever hear this Gemara? What's going to happen to the Yetzer Hara in the future? Very good. What's that? Hashem will slaughter the evil inclination. Hashem will shecht the evil inclination in the future. That's what the Gemara in Sukkot says. Daf Nun Beis, the Gemara says, Hashem will slaughter the evil inclination. Then the Gemara makes an interesting statement where it says, everybody is going to stand around and cry. The tzaddikim are going to cry, and the rishonim are going to cry. The righteous will cry, and the wicked will cry. The righteous will cry because they'll think to themselves, how this massive mountain, how were we able to overcome this massive mountain? The evil inclination, it's a mountain. And sometimes in life, when you think about the pain that you invested in something, you just thinking about it could cause you to cry. Oh yeah, I remember my finals. I remember when I took the state boards, to get my I remember my finals in medical school. Yeah, oh boy, yeah, oh we were up. Oh man, it was so hard. You can actually the pain that goes into it, you can actually start crying, right? The wicked, the Rishonim are going to see the evil inclination, and they're going to cry. They're going to be saying, this thin strand of hair, thin wisp, thin strand of hair. How could we have stumbled on that thin strand of hair? How did he trip us up? One thin strand of hair. That's what the Gemara says. The obvious question is what? What's the obvious question?
Why is it better for the tzaddik?
Correct. I mean, either it's either a Yetzer Hara is a mountain or it's a thin strand of hair. Why are they seeing it from a different? Why do two people see it differently? The answer is that in every one of life's experiences, there are two stages. There's the imagination stage, and there's the actuality stage. In the imagination stage, which is the evil inclination plays with us. He plays with our mind. In the imagination stage, pleasures, certainly illicit pleasures, are always bigger and better than they are when you experience them. They're made out in our mind to be something magnificent, until you actually experience it and you realize, well, it might have been good, but it wasn't what it was cracked up to be. There's a letdown of some sort. There's always a letdown of some sort. In the imagination stage, it's going to be unbelievable. And you'll find this even in not illicit experiences. If you've ever gone on a camping trip, people get camping, you buy the equipment, your fishing poles, you buy a rifle or two, you get your boots, your camping boots, you get a tent, everything else. We're going camping, then you go off. And you find that it's not quite what you expected it to be. You find out that, all right, it wasn't that much fun to pitch a tent. And you got some poison ivy, right? And at night your tent blew away. And then you got chased around a tree by a grizzly bear. And the whole thing wasn't quite, you just expected to go and it's just going to be the be-all and end-all. When you come back, you tell everybody, oh, it was great. Oh, it was unbelievable. Sure, because you don't want to look like a fool who spent all the time and money and had a miserable time. So you always come back and say, oh, it was unbelievable. Oh, it was great. And hopefully they'll do the same thing. They'll get theirs. But at the end of the day, it's not quite what you expect to be. On Yom Kippur, when you fasted, and you can't wait to eat after Yom Kippur, and you think, oh, this is going to be, you take 3 bites, and that's it. You're good. It's certainly better to eat than not to eat, but it's not what you picture it to be. The tzaddik is somebody. I'll give you even a more common example. Let's say you're working on protecting your eyes. You want to try not to look at inappropriate things. So you're walking on the street, and a female type person comes walking past you, and a female type person comes walking. Chas v'shalom. A female type person comes walking past you somewhere on the street. You see her right, and you don't look. As long as you're not looking, what do you feel like? Being tortured. Boy, there's something good over there. There's something good over there, and you just keep your eyes tightly closed, or you avoid. Then you look. Right? You give in and you look. So first of all, you shouldn't get rewarded for those moments that you didn't look. That was also it's not just it's all or nothing. You get rewarded. Then you look, and you go, all right, but okay. She is 66, kind of a letdown over there. Kind of like, and even if she's 25, could also be. Most of the time, it's a letdown also. And you're just like, okay. So for those few moments, now let's say you had never looked. You would walk away with the feeling that what happened? You overcame a mountain of temptation. There was a mountain of pleasure over there that I could have looked at and I didn't. So as a tzaddik, since you don't indulge. You never indulge. You live with the perception that you overcame because there's a mountain of temptation. And you do this over and over and over. That's what makes you a tzaddik. When you're a Russia, so you walk around, your eyes are all over the place. You're looking, taking in all the sights. And each time you do, you say, wow, well, I really have to look at that. A little thin strand of a wisp of hair tripped you. You stumbled over the wisp of hair. That's the difference between the tzaddik and the Russia. So ultimately, what is that evil inclination really? It's just an imagination. You're just playing with your imagination. It's just an illusion. It's not really there. That's what he was. I better get out of here before sunlight, because in the light of the sun, when you're thinking rationally, you see there's nothing there. It applies in many. I heard about a couple that plans vacations. They spend months planning vacations. They buy brochures, travel arrangements, lodges, accommodations, all the arrangements for travel, but they never go because they don't want to ruin it. Isn't that interesting? Isn't that interesting? Because when you go, you see it's never what it's cracked up to be. You'll see this with relatives also. If you haven't seen your relatives for a long time, you've been away at university or in yeshiva for a long time, and you go back to see your relatives and you haven't seen them for 6 months, and you're on the plane and the pilot announces, okay, everybody, fasten your seatbelts, we're going to be landing soon. And you get that little thump, thump, thump. Oh, soon we're all going to be together and we're going to just be so happy. And it's going to be great, right? And the plane lands, everybody's together. After 10 minutes, your mom's all over you, your dad's making the same jokes. You're ready just to turn back and head right where you came from. The first 10 minutes are great. After that, it's a letdown. That's the nature of they say, in the yeshiva world, they say that marriage is not as good as single people think it is, and it's not as bad as married people think it is. It's somewhere in between. They say it's all imagination, and therefore a person who's, a person who is a tzaddik, you're living, you don't know what you gave up. You don't know what you gave up. A guy who's born and raised in Bnei Brak, right, or a kid who's kept kosher his entire life. I don't know what a cheeseburger tastes like. I never had a cheeseburger in my life, right? Other things that when we were younger, Doritos or something that we felt was innocuous, which was anyway not kosher. But a cheeseburger, the thing that always got me was the Swizzler Steakhouse. They had a commercial on TV for the Swizzler Steakhouse, which was absolutely, they got you. The guy had one of those voices, I'm from the Swizzler Steakhouse. He had one of these deep voices, and they show you the steak with the baked potato and the thing. And the end of the commercial is, if you don't get in your car right now and drive down to Swizzler's, you're not hungry. Right? Now, I would, let me tell you something. Now, the one that I really had a weakness for, and it looked good. Okay, but the one that I really like to get at is Kentucky Fried Chicken. That always got me. But you don't, and so I'm thinking, my goodness, anybody who's ever had a McDonald's burger, or Kentucky Fried Chicken, so listen, it's okay. Okay, but you can do better for $5. It's not the greatest thing in the world. That's the imagination. And if you don't indulge, you're just walking around thinking, boy, I missed out. Boy, have I missed out. My whole life I've missed out. Whereas the person who overcomes it, the person who indulges, a big deal. That's the idea. Okay? Now, look at the next slide. Vayomer ma shemecha, Vayomer lov ma shemecha. Yaakov says to the angel, what's your name? Vayomer Yaakov. Sorry, second line. The angel says, what's your name? Vayomer lov ma shemecha, Vayomer Yaakov. Vayomer lo Yaakov, Vayomer od shimcha. Your name will no longer be called Yaakov. Ki im Yisrael. Ki sarisa im elokim va'anoshim v'atucha. Because you battled with angels and with man, and you could. Okay, so his name, that's a prediction that his name is going to be changed. But now, go even further. Fourth line from the top. Vayishal Yaakov, Vayomer Hagidana Shemecha. Yaakov says to the angel, tell me your name. Vayomer Lama Zatishal Shmi. He says, why would you ask my name? Vayivarachos Hosham. And he blesses him over there. Now, what does that mean? Yaakov says, what's your name? And the angel says, why would you ask my name? Okay? So there are two explanations for this. What do you say, Sam? You got that smirk. What do you say?
It's like, come on, I just told you my name.
Why don't you tell me? Okay. So let's end it. But at the end, Yaakov doesn't press the issue. Yaakov doesn't say that. According to you, Yaakov shouldn't say, hey, come on, I told you my name. Why don't you tell me your name? No. So again, there's an insight here into the evil inclination. There are two approaches to the answer. One answer is, tell me what's your name. Speaking to the evil inclination. Says, why would you ask my name? Right? So one opinion is, that's his name. His name is like the classic who's on first. Right? What's your name? Why would you ask my name? Because I want to know it. So I told you. You told me what? My name. Yeah, what is your name? Why would you ask my name? I told, what's your name? Why would you ask? I want to know your name. I told you. You didn't tell me. I did. I told you. What did you tell me? Why would you want to ask my name? Would you cut that out already and tell me your name? That is his name. Why would you want to ask my name as his name? Meaning, one of the commentaries points out, that's also how we approach the evil inclination. There's a temptation in front of us, and instead of investing it and gating it, should I or shouldn't I, we just indulge. We don't ask its name. We don't find out, is this the right thing or not? That's the name of the evil inclination. The evil inclination's name is, why would you ask my name? Meaning, don't think about it. Don't think about it, just indulge. Remember the Nike commercial? I don't know if they still have this. Nike's advertisement, just do it. Is that Nike's advertisement, just do it? Right? That's the evil inclination. That's the snake, the Nachash HaKadmoni. What do you mean, what are you thinking about? Just indulge. Is that the Nike swoosh? Doesn't the Nike swoosh look a little bit like a snake? Right? There you go. That's the Nachash HaKadmoni. Just do it. That's exactly what the evil inclination is. Why would you ask my name? Don't think about it. Don't think about it. If you think about it, you might convince yourself not to do it. Indulge. Ask questions later. That's the first aspect of the evil inclination. The second aspect of the evil inclination, the commentaries say, is why would you ask my name means, listen, you want to know my name? I could tell you my name. But that's not going to help you. Because if you think, well, I overcame the evil inclination with this name, first of all, the Gemara says he's got 7 names. What that means is, you're never done with the evil inclination. In life, you're never done with the evil inclination. You've always got a situation where you decide, you know what, on the way home tonight, I'm going to work on my Yetzer Hara. On the way up tonight, I'm a selfish person. I think when I get home, I'm going to be giving, and I'm going to help my wife. I'm going to do the dishes. I'm going to clean off the table. I'm going to help her with the kids. Instead of my usual evil inclination where I get up from the supper table, I crash out on the couch with a can of beer and a basketball game, and let my wife take care of the house. I'm going to overcome the evil inclination. On the way home from work, I'm driving home, I'm really proud of myself because I am going to overcome the evil inclination of selfishness tonight. And that's a good thing, isn't it? And as I get to the front door is locked. I knock, waiting, I knock, getting a little more, I knock, getting a little more. It takes my wife 10 minutes to get to the front door. She was in the back room talking on the phone to her mother. And I absolutely explode. So what happened? I got trapped by evil inclination of anger. That means, okay, I know there's one evil inclination over here. Big deal. There's another evil inclination called anger. Why would you ask my name? You think you defeated me? Okay, which evil inclination am I? I am physical desire. Oh, good. Well, I defeated him. He didn't throw me down. Oh, yeah? Great. So you're going to conquer your physical desire. You got to work on your ego, your anger, your eyes, your inconsideration. You got a million and one things. The battle's never over. So you understand, you may have defeated in one area, which, by the way, never think that. The minute you think that you got him in one area, that's the area you're going to fall. Man, this anger thing ain't so bad. Will you move back a little bit? Next thing you know, you're going to get ticked off. Just when you think you got it done, no, I got this worked out already. Then you're going to find it'll attack you some other way. Remember we mentioned the remarkable parallel between the evil inclination and a snake? Did we speak about that? The snake, the serpent, which represents evil. Yeah, right. Yesterday we were talking about the serpent. Isn't it interesting? The first temptation to Chava in the Torah is the snake. You know how many parallels there are between the snake and the evil inclination? It's remarkable. It's remarkable that the snake is the evil inclination. For one thing, all it takes is one little puncture from the snake, and the venom overtakes you. Right? The evil inclination, he gets in one area, and he could conquer you in one area. All it takes is one defeat, and then he could take you down completely. Number one. Number two, sometimes the snake rattles. Right? All of a sudden you hear, evil inclination, due east. Right? It's usually in the sound of heels. Right? Evil inclination, there's a rattle. Okay, I got a little bit of a warning. Don't look. There's evil inclination over there. Sometimes the snake, you can't hear him at all. And he gets you where you're most vulnerable. Right in the ankle. Right in the back of the ankle. The snake bites you where you're most vulnerable. I'm working on my selfishness, and I'm working on my self-control. I'm working on my eyes, and I'm working on not being being dominated by my physical. And also that front door is like, darn it! You get angry. You got right where you're least protected. Sometimes the evil inclination overwhelms you like a boa constrictor. You just feel, I'm losing this battle. I am so weak right now. He has got me. He's wrapped around me. Right? Sometimes when a snake, what do you do when a snake, what's it called? A snake goes into that position to strike. He coils to strike. That's right. He coils up to strike. What are you supposed to do? What do you do when a snake coils to strike? Don't move. You can't move a muscle. If you move a muscle, snake will get you. I once asked my younger brother, who was going to be a zoologist, why I can't just jump back and start running. Right? If he coils, just jump back and turn around and run. So my younger brother was trying to explain to me how quick snakes are, that they're quicker than me. He was trying to give me an example. He said, okay, let's imagine there's a mouse loose in the room. I tell you to catch the mouse with your bare hands. What chance have you got of catching a mouse with your bare hands? That's about your chances. He says a snake, when there's a mouse there, the snake just goes like that and catches the mouse. Mice are quick, snakes are quicker. He says, if you try to jump back, the snake would get you and be off of you before you even got your heels off the ground. He says that's how quick they are. So when a snake coils to strike, you don't move a muscle. You don't move. You can't breathe. So sometimes there are times in life where you're in a situation, one false move, and you are spiritually dead with one false move. And you could be on your computer, and one false move, one button, you're gone. You're dead. Freeze. Stop what you're doing. The parallels are remarkable. Snakes are camouflaged. Sometimes you're in a situation where, this should be safe. And what you're doing is you're just walking right into the trap. Right? I had a guy once said to me, and a couple of guys at the yeshiva said, look, we want to go downtown. After a long day, we want to go to a bar and review the Gemara. Right, we're going to go to the bar and review the Gemara. Yeah, I'll bet you are. No better place than a bar to go review the Gemara, right? Yeah, what could be wrong? That's camouflage, right? And even that's not so camouflage, right? They're simply duping you. Come, right, into the bar to study Gemara. Why don't you go buy some beer and study Gemara in the yeshiva instead of in the bar? Be a lot better for you. You understand? That's the similarities. That's why you're trapped by him. And ultimately, he's playing with his imagination. I heard a very good line, by the way. Worry. If something people are worriers, or people worry about the future, worry about this, worry. Worry is generally letting your imagination run away with you. Something negative has happened, or there's something potentially negative, and your imagination just turns it into something which, in most cases, life, it never even happens. Oh my goodness, Oh, I don't have any, wow, what's going to happen? I heard the stock market's, what if the stock market crashes? My goodness, stock market crashes, I'll never be able to go to college. If I can't go to college, what am I going to do? My goodness, I want to get a job. I'm going to die of starvation. Oh, I can't even, I want to, oh, am I hungry? It's all because you read a report to the stock market, which may or may not even be true, that the stock market, all of a sudden you got your whole life worked out. Most of it doesn't even happen anyway. Right? So imagination, worry is also just your imagination worrying, running away with what could possibly be negative. That's all it is. We are dominated by our imagination. Okay. Now, there's a very cute thing here. If you take a look at page Lamed Beis, we're going to find now the third mitzvah in the Torah. This is the third mitzvah in the Torah. We've done 2 mitzvahs so far. Anybody remember what they are? What's the first mitzvah? There are only 3 mitzvahs in the entire book of Bereshis. Be fruitful, multiply. Bris Milah. Now we're going to go to the third mitzvah. Mitzvah number, take a look at page Lamed Aleph. Pasuk Lamed Aleph. Vayikra Yaakov Shem HaMakom Peniel. It's 6 lines from the top. Vayikra Yaakov Shem HaMakom Peniel. Ki Ra'isi Elohim Panim El Panim Vatinatzel Nafshi. Yaakov names the place Peniel, for I have seen, how does the Ark tread the divine face to face, and I have been saved. Okay, that's what he calls the place Peniel. Then it says, the next pasuk, Vayizrach lo Hashem, the sun shines, Ka'asher Avar es Penuel, when he crosses over, V'hut Soleya al Yerecho. He was limping. Yaakov was limping where he got hit in the thigh. And therefore there comes along a command. Verse 33 is a command. I'll just show you something amazing about this. Al Kain lo yochlu b'nei Yisrael es gid hanasha. The Jewish people are not allowed to eat the sciatic nerve. How does the article translate? Does he call it the sciatic nerve? The displaced sinew. Asher al kaf hayorech ad hayom hazeh, to this day. Ki nogat b'chaf yorech Yaakov b'gid hanasha. Because this angel touched Yaakov, he injured him in the gid hanasha. Now, the gid hanasha is in the animal on the right, running down the thigh bone, the hind quarters of an animal. We're not allowed to eat the gid hanasha, and it's a sinew or tendon that has to be removed. Now, in most kosher, you're not allowed to eat it. It's tasteless. It's absolutely tasteless, but it has to be removed taken out of the meat. And it's not an easy thing to do because apparently it has many little branches that branch off. It could be done. It's a specialized skill in the Jewish slaughterhouses. It's a specialized skill to remove both the gid hanasha and what's called the chalev. The chalev is the forbidden fat. There's forbidden fat in kosher animals. All of that has to be removed. In most Jewish butcher establishments, it is not cost efficient. It is not worthwhile to hire somebody to do it. In most kosher establishments, they simply sell the hindquarters of the animal to a non-kosher company because it's just not worth their while to have somebody sitting there taking out. But there are plenty of places that do. I have a friend who works at that, and it's a skill. It's a difficult skill. But we are forbidden to eat the gid hanasha. It means you're not allowed to cook it. You're not allowed to put it in your meat and have your meat cooked with it, and so on and so forth. That's the Torah prohibition. Now, if you'll notice, the Torah begins with the words Al Kain lo yochlu b'nei Yisrael. Okay, the b'nei Yisrael shall not. Now you have to see this inside, gentlemen. You have to say, Gil is one of those things, when you see it once, you'll never forget this. This is one of those things going to register deep. Okay, so everybody make sure you see the pasuk, okay? Verse 33, first 2 words on the line. Al Kain lo yochlu b'nei Yisrael, the Jewish people should not eat. Now, it's very interesting, in the pasuk that begins with not eating, we will find here in this pasuk an allusion to the fasts of the Jewish year, right? Right in the pasuk where it says, Al Kain lo yochlu b'nei Yisrael, Jewish people should not eat. And now we will find, alluded to in this pasuk, are the fasts. Now, does anybody know how many fasts there are in the course of the Jewish year? 6 fasts, okay. What are the 6 fasts? Yom Kippur, Tisha B'Av,
Fast of firstborn,
Tainus Esther, Tzom Gedalia, Asar B'Teves, the 10th of Teves, and the 17th of Tammuz. Okay, those are the 6 fasts of the Jewish year. Okay, now the Torah says, Al Kain lo yochlu b'nei Yisrael, we should not eat. Okay, when don't we eat? Well, the next word is S. You see that S? Everybody see that? Alex, you see where that is?
no.
Take a look. Find Pasuk Lamed Gimel.
I'm not very good with Hebrew.
Okay. We look at Gil. Show Alex where the pasuk is. The pasuk Lamed Gimel. Okay. Stay with. We'll read it slow. Al kain lo yochlu b'nei Yisrael. Jewish people should not eat. Now, when shouldn't they eat? Aleph Taf S stands for two things. It stands for Tainis Esther, the fast of Esther. The Taf is Tainis. Aleph is Esther, and it also stands for Tisha Av, the 9th of Av. Okay? So those are the first two, right? The next one, I'll go over it again. Don't lose it. Stay with it. I'll go over it again. The Gimel obviously stands for what? Gedalia. The Yud stands for Yom Kippur, and Yud is the 10th of Teves. And the word Gid together, if you add up the letters Gimel, Yud, Daled, Gimel is 17, is the 17th of Tammuz. So right after it says the Jewish people should not eat, you have alluded to in the next 5 letters the 6th fast of the Jewish year. Okay? How's that for a coincidence? Right? Aleph Tuf, again, Aleph Tuf stands for two things. Tanis Esther, the fast of Esther, and Tisha Av, the 9th of Av. Okay, we call it Tisha B'Av because it's bit of, but for what we're doing, for our purposes, is good enough. Okay? Gimel obviously stands for Gedalia, which is the fast of Gedalia, which is also on Gimel Tishrei. It's on the 3rd day of Tishrei. Gimel and Gedalia, right? In case you have any problem with it. Yud stands for two things, both the 10th of the month, which is the 10th of Teves, and Yom Kippur. And then the 3 letters together, Gimel, Yud, Dalet, is the numerical value of 17, which is the 17th of Tammuz. And the word Hanosha rearranges into the letters of Hashanah, of the year. These are the fasts of the year.
What does the 17th stand for?
The 17th of Tammuz. The 17th of Tammuz, which is the 17th of Tammuz, is the fast day of Tammuz. Okay. But this is all man-made, by the way. This is all written by man. A very clever man, whoever wrote it, I must tell you. Okay. That is the idea of what do you call it? Okay. Now we come to the epic meeting. Yaakov raises his eyes. Perek Lamed Gimel Pasuk Aleph, 7 lines from the bottom. Vayisa Yaakov Einav. Yaakov raises his eyes. Vayarvi Eisav ba v'imo arba me'osish. Eisav come along with 400 men. Vayachatz es hayolodim al Leah ve'al Rachel ve'al shtei shvachos. He presses together the children with Leah and with Rachel and 2 shvachos. Vayosem es hashvachos es yaldem rishon. He puts the maidservants and their children first. Ves Leah ve'ledah achronim, and then after them Leah and her children. Ves Rachel ves Yosef achronim. Now, you should ask me a question here. There should be, if you've been following the story, I had a question for a long time, which I finally found an answer to a few years back. I found an answer to this question. But I had the question for a long time, and I hadn't had an answer for it. And you should ask me the question right now. There's a very big question. Yaakov's now, he's got the whole family together going and ready to meet Eisav. So he arranges them as they're ready to meet Eisav. Does that bother you, Shlomo? Doesn't that bother you? You should have a question with there. Something should be bothering you. Sam, nothing bothers you about that? You should have a fundamental question here, just on the text itself. What's the problem?
Why are you bringing the family to someone who wants to kill you?
Well, his family's with him. He's got his family with him. They're coming to meet the man.
Yeah, but didn't they split the camp?
Oh, very good. Didn't they? I thought the camps were split. Yeah. He had split up the camps so that they shouldn't meet everybody together. So what are they doing all together over here? Had this question for a long time until I found an answer. So I finally saw. I think it was the one of the classic commentaries, the Eimek Dover. He says, sure. But then Yaakov had that vision where he was fighting with the angel. And when he sees the angel can't defeat him, he sees that as a sign. Esav's not going to defeat him, so there's nothing to be worried about. Once he has this vision, he sees that as a prophetic indication. Eisav can't defeat him. Eisav can't throw him down. If Eisav can't throw him down, it's pointless to have so he joins the camps together. They're no longer in danger. Yeah.
So then, why does he redivide them?
Yeah.
He puts them in an order. No, he puts them in the order that they're going to make it. He's still taking precautions. He's still taking precautions. It's not like, okay, let's throw caution to the wind. He's putting them in an order. He's putting them in an order, and he keeps Rachel all the way in the back because she's very beautiful. He doesn't want Eisav to see her, and even Yosef stands up in front of his mother to block Eisav's view. But he's coming towards Eisav. He's going to have to meet him. Now, take a look at 3 lines from the bottom. V'hu avar lifnehem, Yaakov passed in front of them. Vayishtachu arza sheva pa'amim ad gishto ad achiv. He bows down 7 times till he reaches his brother. Yaakov bows 7 times as he comes to see his brother. Remember, Eisav is a brother. He's a human being. He hasn't seen his brother for 20 years. And Yaakov is very, very, he's deferring to Eisav. He's being very, very humble. He bows 7 times, which at a deeper level means Eisav represents an evil inclination. It has 7 names, which are 7 forces, 7 kochos that the evil inclination. Each time he bows, he's weakening one of those forces. And he bows till he gets to his brother. Vayoratz Eisav likrasa. Eisav runs towards him. Vayichabkeu, he hugs him. Vayipol al tzavorov, he falls on his neck. Vayishakehu, he kisses him. Vayivku, and they cry. Now you'll notice there are dots over the word Vayishakehu. There are dots over the word Vayishakehu. That means when you open up the Sefer Torah, you read in the Sefer Torah, there's no vowels. In the Sefer Torah, there are no vowels. There are a few words in the Torah which we have a tradition that have marks around those words. If you look in a Sefer Torah, you will see on the word Vayishakehu, there are dots on the word Vayishakehu. Now, those are obviously not vowelization dots. There's some sort of indication dots. What are those dots doing there? So take a look at Rashi. Rashi is the left column, 4 lines from the bottom. Left column, 4 lines from the bottom of Rashi. And it says, Vayichabkeu, he hugged him. Says Rashi, Nisgalgalu rachamov, his mercy was aroused. Kshira'ohu mishtachave kol ishtachavoso, he saw him bowing down to him. Eisav's mercy button was pushed. Vayishakehu, says Rashi, nokud olav, there are dots over the word Vayishakehu. Meaning that what I told you in the Torah, there are dots. Now, what did the dots indicate? They have to indicate something. V'yesh cholkim b'davar hazeh, b'braisa d'sifri. There are 2 opinions. There are 2 Tanaic opinions. What do those dots symbolize? Yesh shedarshu nikdu hazeh. Some say, some expound on this dottage. Lomar shelo noshko b'chol libo. He didn't kiss him with his entire heart. Eisav kissed him. The dots just indicate he kissed him, but it wasn't with a full heart. Amar Rabbi Shimon ben Yochai, says Rabbi Shimon ben Yochai, halacha hi biyadua, it is a well-known halacha, she'esav sonei Yaakov, Eisav hates Yaakov. Ela shenichmeru rachmav b'osashav v'neshako b'chol libo. To the contrary, Shimon ben Yochai says, it's a well-known halacha, Eisav hates Yaakov. You know why there are dots over here? In spite of hating him, at this moment he was so warmed up, he hugged him with his whole heart. So there are 2 opinions here. There's one opinion that the dots indicate it was not a full kiss, a full hug and kiss. There's another, it was not a full kiss. There's another, Reb Shimon bar Yochai says to the contrary. Even though there's a halacha that Eisav hates Yaakov, here he kissed him with a full heart. Now Reb Shimon bar Yochai would know very well. Where was Reb Shimon bar Yochai for 12 years? Okay. Why? The Romans, descendants of Eisav, were chasing him. So he knows what Eisav is like. Which begs a different question. Look at the statement of Rabbi Shimon. This is a direct quote from Rabbi Shimon ben Yochai. It's a well-known halacha that Eisav hates Yaakov. Any comment on that statement? When there's a halacha, is there an explanation? Why do we put on tefillin? Why do you shake a lulav? Why do you can't wear shatnez? Why? It's a commandment. That's it becomes a reality. It's a reality in the way the world runs. There's a reality you have to put on tefillin. With all the explanations, at the end of the day, there's no explanation. At the end of the day, there's no explanation. You have to put on tefillin because God said you have to put on tefillin. There is a halacha. There is no rational explanation. Eisav hates Yaakov, bottom line. And the Jews through history have found this out in both directions. When we behave like Jews, they hate us. And when we try to what do you call it? We try to assimilate. They hate us even more, right? Nothing works. All those books, there have been books written on analyzing anti-Semitism. Books, piles and piles of books. Those are great books, by the way. Great books, every one of them. If you ever have a loose table at home and it's, shaking up and down, one of those books should fit. It should fit under your table, it'll hold up what do you call it, if you ever need to jack up your car in order to change a tire, get about 6 of those books, put it on. Some of them have hard covers too. That's what they're worth. That's what they're worth. That's about it. And if you have a log bomb or fire and you can't get it started, use one of those books. That's what those books are. Those books aren't worth diddly poop because there is no explanation. Because all the explanations have been tried and tested, and every one of them has failed. We hate you when you're with a shtreimel, and we hate you when you're without a shtreimel. We hate you when you got tzitzis. We hate you without your tzitzis. One way or another. Now, it doesn't mean it doesn't mean every Eisav. It doesn't mean every goy in the world hates Jews. There have been righteous Gentiles. But they're a lot more than we're willing to acknowledge. And why do they hate us? No explanation. If you want the deeper understanding of it, the deeper understanding is that we represent their conscience. We are the conscience of mankind because they see that there is a different way to live. Jews who don't keep and live like Jews, then they hate them even more. Because you're supposed to be living a certain way. That's what's happening deep down. What's happening deep down is, hey, that Rabbi Weinbach once tells the story. 2 Israeli guys were in Scotland. So they stopped off at a roadside inn. They ordered a meal. So the proprietor comes over to them. Good, nice treif meal. And these 2 Israeli guys are sitting there. And the proprietor comes over to them and he hands them their food. And as he hands them the food, he says, can I ask you a question? Your people have suffered 2,000 years just so you could eat the same food we do? Everybody knows it. We expect more from you. We expect more from you. The Jew who behaves like a Jew, we have a grudging respect for you. At least you got some principles. The Jew who doesn't behave like a Jew, we got no respect for you at all. What are you? You got to stay on your team. What are you, a fair weather fan? Stay on your team. We got no respect for you at all. I told you, I have never encountered not on the street, cars would drive by once in a while, yell something about a yarmulke, but in personal interactions with non-Jews, I've never encountered anything but respect. When you represent your religion, people respect it. You're making a statement. You're willing to make a statement. You don't have to put it in people's faces, but people make. I was once walking in L.A. I was on the sleeve on the airport, going onto the airplane, and a guy walks over and he says, "Excuse me, sir, I'm the pilot. Can I ask you a question?" I go, "Ooh, pilots." I was starstruck. Ooh, the pilot. He goes, "Yeah." He goes, "Can I ask you a question? Are there Hasidic? I thought there were only Hasidic Jews in New York. Are there Hasidic Jews outside of New York also?" So I said to him, "Well, first of all, there are Hasidic Jews outside of New York also. Yes, it's not only New York. And second of all, I personally am not a Hasidic Jew. There are different types of black hats. Not every black hat means I'm Hasidic, but there are Hasidic Jews." So he goes, I didn't offend you, did I?" So I made a mistake. I said, "Oh, no, not at all." And I should have said, "Well, yes, you did. And, if you put me in first class for the flight, I'll think about forgiving you." I blew it. It was one of those opportunities that I let slip through my fingers, But I've never encountered people. People are very respectful of people who make a statement. People who are consistent. That's halacha. It's halacha. Eisav hates Yaakov. Nothing we can do about it. There's absolutely nothing we can do about it. There are indicated, we don't have time now, there are indications in this Parshat how to deal with Eisav. That we're supposed to defer to Eisav. Don't go marching in there, flexing your muscles with your Eisav. Bow down to Eisav. Give in to Eisav. Do what Eisav tells you to do. We're in gullus. We're not in charge. We're not in control right now. That the Torah is teaching you. All right, to be continued.